and that is motivation. Being able to stay motivated and to continue to practice consistently, and all that good stuff. So I think one of the number one reasons for people lacking motivation, and myself included, is very much based off of goals. If you don't know why you're working towards something, or why you should be regimented or disciplined in some aspect, then it becomes very hard to, I don't know, you need a point behind what you're doing, right? If you're doing something just that doesn't seem to have any meaning to you, or that there's no real outcome that you actually desire, like if you're just doing something for the sake of doing something, obviously it's going to be hard to remain motivated. But if you're, say, for example, a musician, a drummer, and you have a goal, like, I want to be an educator, I want to be the number one teacher in this area, I want to be a touring musician, I would love to play for this artist. Goals like that will really help create that sort of vision and clarity for you, and again give you reason to practice and to know why you're putting in the effort and the energy and the hours that you are. Because again, if you don't have a goal, or your goal is extremely vague, then it's going to be hard to be motivated. And that's something I've definitely experienced to an extent in the past. Although for me, I've known that drums is just what I want to do. I want to play drums for a living, be a touring musician, which again is somewhat of a vague goal, but it's a huge goal for me. And in a sense, the fact, that reminds me that it's actually good also to have a bigger picture goal. This is kind of a paradox in a way, because if you only have a big picture goal, that can tend to be extremely overwhelming and demotivating, because it's not very digestible. That's where my sort of logic behind my approach to goals is to have, I always think bigger picture, and I'm very future oriented. But once you have that goal, in my opinion, I think one of the best things you can do is to take that goal and reverse engineer the steps that you need to take. A lot of the times, those steps won't always look like what you expect to, but it helps a lot if you. This is actually one thought experiment I tend to apply, which is to think of those goals and to go about constructing it, or reverse engineering those steps, as if I was trying to help someone else. That tends to help me, because I can get a bit wrapped up in my own head and this and that. So it just helps if I imagine myself trying to counsel or guide someone else and help them get to the goal that they're aiming to achieve, which is kind of weird, but that works for me. But the point being that reverse engineering digestible steps towards that bigger picture goal is so helpful, because, and like goal, having a goal is everything. If you don't have a goal, if you have nothing to strive for, again, you're going to lack purpose, meaning, and you're going to probably lack inspiration or intrinsic motivation, should I say. So I've always thought that that was one of the biggest reasons I think people tend to lack motivation, especially when it comes to putting in countless of hours, that the hours that are required to truly be a master or to accomplish big goals, it really requires a lot of dedication. So it's, you need reason to be dedicated. If you don't have that goal, or even the smaller goals, then it's, things, it can make all the effort that you put in feel very aimless. And that's just, it becomes so much more difficult than if you have clear goals. You know what you're aiming for. This is what I have to do to get there. These are the people I need to know. This is the area I need to investigate, or delve and put myself into, etc. So clarify goals. It helps so much. Have a big picture, a big goal, a dream. I think most of us do, but then learn to sort of break that into more digestible goals. So that's often a question that I get asked about. I've been playing drums for about 12 years now, and I'm still just as motivated, if not more, than I've ever been, because I still have my bigger picture goal of wanting to be a musician, full-time touring musician. But then also I have smaller goals like venues that I want to play in, people I want to play with, things like that. And maybe I should actually elaborate on some of those. But, for me, the Domino Club in Leeds is an awesome sort of jazz fusion club, if you will, here in Leeds. And I've seen some amazing, amazing bands there. And it's just such a awesome, intimate venue. And to me, it would just be so, so cool to play there. So that's definitely one of my goals, which then, because I have that goal, that's very much helped direct me in the kinds of people I need to associate myself with and the people I need to get to know, but also to note that it shouldn't be from a stance of what can I take from them, what can I take. It's very much what can I give. And when you tend to give to people, they tend to give back. Well, it's one of the best ways, I think, to go about it than just going up to a bunch of really cool, awesome full-time virtuosic musicians and just being, hey, can you get me this? Hey, how did you, ask questions, but don't be a leech, try and offer any value you can to them. I've done that to some extent here. I haven't been living in Leeds for too long, but in the year or so that I have lived here, I've been able to set up things like drum sheds, really get to know people on a personal level, just small things like buying them drinks after a gig, telling them they did an awesome job, just being supportive. That will really build, a lot closer relationships. And if you know anything about the music industry, it's very, very much about who you know and who you are as a person, because especially in today's age, there's so many great musicians out there. So, one of the main things that's going to separate you from those other skillful musicians, even the ones that are better than you, is your personality. You need to be someone that people can get along with, being someone that people like, people, will word of mouth, things like that. So you don't want to have bad blood and bad rumors, etc. So your personality is going to be almost everything. So be true to yourself, know what your goal is, and you can express that very much so to those that you are in your circle or desired circle. And just doing things like that, I think, just help sort of narrow that path that you're on again, so you're not feeling so aimless and lost, and you're going to the practice room, you're putting in all these hours, but again, you're just kind of lost and you're adrift. So that's definitely been something I've thought about a lot in terms of motivation, is having goals and then breaking it down into steps in regards to where you want to be, the places you want to play, the people you want to meet and be acquaintances with, etc. They're all very, very important foundations to motivation, at least in the context of music and from what I know.